Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you've ever felt like you're just endlessly pushing a boulder up a hill, working relentlessly but not really seeing the results you want, I promise you, you are not alone. Today, we're diving into some absolutely fascinating insights that are going to completely reframe how we think about discipline, success, and the daily grind. So let's just get right into it. Why do we almost always fail our New Year's resolutions? Ugh, it's a painful question, right? And the statistics are honestly pretty brutal. But the reason isn't that we're weak or lazy. It's actually because we fundamentally misunderstand motivation and energy. See, we go in search of this completely new life, a total new state of being, but we don't budget for the incredible biological energy it takes to resist our current environment. We sort of just expect it to be a smooth ride, and the second it isn't, we quit. Which brings us to a harsh but totally necessary reality check. Problems are a feature of life, not a bug. It's so easy to fantasize about waking up one day with literally all our problems vanished. You know, like walking onto an empty map after beating a video game level? But friction is inevitable. True growth means learning to navigate problems, not constantly trying to escape them.
All right, section 1, the myth of discipline.
So, what actually is discipline? Well, it turns out discipline is simply the ability to prioritize the needs of your future self ahead of your present self. That's really it. It isn't self-flagellation or, well, actually, scratch that. It's really the exact opposite of punishment. It's a profound empathetic act of caring for the person you are going to become. And when you look at it that way, choosing to do the hard thing becomes an act of self-love, for sure. Where we usually get it completely wrong is what we might call the buffet plate workload. Just imagine walking into a massive buffet and piling everything onto your plate, assuming your stomach will just magically expand to fit it all. I mean, it won't. And neither will your schedule. You literally cannot learn the piano, start a side business, move to a new city, and lose 20 pounds all in the exact same year. You have to ruthlessly cross things off. We're talking subtraction, not addition, until only one massive priority remains. And why must we strip our goals down to just one? Because we have to ask ourselves, how do we actually reach escape velocity? Think of a rocket ship sitting on a launch pad. Escaping Earth's gravity requires a massive, concentrated burst of upfront energy. If your energy is leaking into 5 different goals, there is no way you will ever get off the ground. You have to focus intensely on that single remaining goal to break through your current orbit. Now, the timeline for this journey can be incredibly frustrating because outcomes are a lagging measure of your inputs. To put that into perspective, the results you are seeing today, right now, in your life, are simply the echoes of the habits you built months or maybe even years ago. If you start launching your rocket today, you won't see the stars tomorrow. You just have to endure that delay. So the absolutely crucial point here is how we sustain that journey through micro habits. Motivation is totally fleeting. It's unreliable and drains your energy. Highly successful people are not just constantly exerting massive amounts of discipline all day long. The reality is they just used a tiny teaspoon of discipline at the very beginning to build unstoppable micro habits. Once it's a habit, kind of like brushing your teeth, it's automatic. Discipline is really just the initial spark. Moving on to section 2, surviving the lonely chapter. This brings us to a deeply resonant concept known as the lonely chapter. This is a period in your life where you are too developed to resonate with your old friends, but not yet sufficiently developed to have built a new community. I want you to hear this. If pursuing a big goal leaves you feeling entirely isolated, it turns out you are actually doing it exactly right. This isn't a bug in the system, it's a built-in feature of personal growth. It's kind of like changing your dialect so much that over time, you and your friends literally don't even speak the same language anymore. There's a painful but absolutely necessary friction that occurs when you decide to stop engaging in comforting, validation-seeking behaviors like, going to the pub every Friday so you can invest in your future self. And during this lonely chapter, our brains love to play nasty tricks on us. Enter productivity dysmorphia. This is the inability to see your own success or even acknowledge the sheer volume of your output. It sits right there at the messy intersection of burnout, imposter syndrome, and anxiety. It's this awful feeling that no matter how hard you crush the day, your baseline is somehow a state of loss, and the absolute best you can do is drag yourself up to a draw. Which leads us to section 3, redefining your success metrics. Every day, we're constantly choosing between observable metrics and hidden metrics. Observable ones are the things people can easily see: your job title, your salary, the size of your house, the car you drive. But what about the hidden metrics? Your peace of mind, time with your family, a short commute, your physical health? Why do we so often trade deeply fulfilling hidden metrics for observable ones? Usually it's just so other people can judge our success. But honestly, sacrificing your peace for prestige is almost always a terrible trade. But the pressure to make that bad trade is immense. Why? Because differentiation is survival, and the universe actually wants you to be typical. Your environment, your peers, the broader culture, they naturally pull you right back toward the average. Regression to the mean is a very powerful force. It takes a tremendous biological energy budget just to remain untypical and extraordinary. Section 4. Finding your unique purpose. To find that purpose, we first have to clear away the noise. There are 5 main mental hindrances to your goal: sensory desires, ill will, dullness, restlessness, and self-doubt. Getting intensely distracted by sensory desires or entirely consumed by ill will toward things you passionately dislike, it's like slapping calm water. You just create chaotic ripples. Whether it's dullness or self-doubt, these things actively drain energy away from your actual purpose. To move quickly toward your goal, you have to stop letting everything you like or dislike violently yank your attention around. Once you finally quiet that noise, a really simple truth emerges. You have to embrace your weirdness. What makes you different is your unique source of power. True success requires looking inward. Forget what the culture tells you is cool. Forget the endless social media trends. Dig deep into the quirks, the oddities, the unique fascinations you had as a kid. That difference, that is where your ultimate leverage lies. And finally, Section 5, the science of willpower. This is where the neuroscience gets truly fascinating. Meet the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. This is a brain structure that literally grows larger when you force yourself to do things you do not want to do. It is the biological seat of willpower. So discipline isn't just some fluffy self-help concept. It is a literal, physical muscle in your brain that we can actively build by embracing discomfort. So how do we actually build this part of the brain? Well, it comes down to 3 things. First, getting adequate sleep to reset your focus. Second, time blocking your day, especially your mornings. And third, practicing daily discomfort. Now, the secret ingredient here is emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is what allows you to execute these 3 steps, even on the days you feel totally tired, sad, or unmotivated. You just do it anyway. When we map that time blocking onto a real daily schedule, it looks something like this. 6 a.m. is your first opportunity block. This is when your biological energy is at its absolute highest, so you tackle the hardest cognitive work to maximize that brain growth. By noon, you shift to secondary tasks, and by 6 p.m., you move into rest and recovery. The goal is to align your hardest tasks with your highest biological capability. But listen, as we build this incredible discipline, we cannot defer our happiness. Life is inherently ridiculous, and it is happening right now. It's so easy to fall into the provisional life trap, this fantasy that once you finally reach your goal, your real life will suddenly begin. Let me tell you, it won't. In a few generations, no one will even remember our names. So drop that immense pressure for a second. Enjoy the ride. Find the joy in the discipline itself. I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought to really linger on. If you stripped away everyone else's expectations, what is the one difficult thing your future self is begging you to start today? Find that one thing, use just a teaspoon of discipline to start the habit, and watch your life transform. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Now get out there and do the hard thing today.